Is that? No, it can't be. It's one of Hans' brothers. I just fell out of my chair. Wait. Remember when Hans said, as heir, Elsa was preferable, of course, but no one was getting anywhere with her? Emphasis on no one. What if some of the other princes of the Southern Isle came and tried to woo Elsa, but failed, and presumably gave up on ruling Arendelle and went back home? Because they thought if they got married to Anna, then it wouldn't really matter, and they weren't as smart as Hans thinking the queen. And Hans saw that, and that's why he said that no one was getting anywhere with her. The pupil of your eye can expand as much as 55% while looking at something you love. Even sadder is that your name reminded me of an online friend who has the same username as you on Instagram, Aquasky. She hasn't been on for 2 years. I miss you, weeb. Bro, that's me. No, but seriously, why does anyone talk about the Quetzalcoatlus? I mean, Jesus, F Christ. Pterodactyls ain't next to these Quetzalcoatlus ate baby dinosaurs for brunch. Littlefoot, no. Just imagine something as tall as a giraffe soaring through the skies at 80 miles an hour and then swooping down and eating your face off. Quetzalcoatlus. So I came home from work today and there was a Kindle addressed to me that I did not remember ordering. I spent the afternoon trying to figure out how I accidentally purchased a Kindle from Amazon, and when I came back from hanging out with Catherine, I told my parents, guys, you'll not believe what I accidentally ordered for myself. Huh? Said Dad very casually. Did you get charged for it? I spent the next 5 minutes checking my bank account and came back in the living room to announce, no, I didn't. Do you think it's a mistake? But it has my name on it. What does this mean? It was around that time I started to sound panicked that my dad confessed to buying it for me. I didn't realize the mystery of it would be so terrifying, which was very, very sweet and slightly unfortunate because yesterday I purchased a replacement Kindle for myself. So anyway, we now have a family Kindle. Me and my mom were talking about the Kindle this morning, and she told me about how a few weeks ago she got into her car only to discover that it had been mysteriously clean. But who would do this, she said to my father, who said he was sure he had no idea. A student? A stranger? Someone who broke into my car to steal it but felt bad about how dirty it was? Who? Eventually my dad was like, honey, it was clearly me. Poor dad just wants to be a man who expresses his love through silent actions, but his family consists of panicked, suspicious women who apparently are very sure that strangers will ominously do nice things for us. The old internet was great, and one of the reasons it was great was because it would end. You would go to your favorite sites and see all the new things on them, and then you would be done with the internet for that day. It was not an infinite attention hole. Maybe something new would happen in the middle of the day or at night and you would check again, but that was it. It was just a small, manageable part of your much broader life. Tumblr is that barren pasture in Costa Rica that was purposely filled with 12,000 metric tons of orange peels by conservation researchers. Initially, the orange peels decomposed into sludgy stuff filled with fly larvae. This led to accusations that the juice company providing the peels were defiling the land, and thus the site was ultimately abandoned. But when researchers went back about 15 years later, they discovered the arid landscape had been unrecognizably transformed into a dense, vine-filled jungle. As for how the orange peels were able to regenerate the site so effectively in just 16 years of isolation, nobody's entirely sure. And that, my friends, is Tumblr. Tumblr is the Breath of the Wild world. The apocalypse has come and gone, and things are nice again. Some ancient evils are still lurking around. Link is there. Pixar, 1995. What if toys had feelings? Pixar, 1998. What if bugs had feelings? Pixar, 2001. What if monsters had feelings? 2003. What if fish had feelings? 2004. What if superheroes had feelings? 2006. What if cars had feelings? 2007. What if rats had feelings? 2008. What if robots had feelings? 2009. What if dogs had feelings? 2012. What if Scotland had feelings? 2015. What if feelings had feelings? Pixar movies. Advice for girls: buy skinny jeans in the boys section. They're more comfortable, still form-fitting, and best of all, the pockets. They have actual pockets. Don't believe me? Look, these are boy pants, and they still look just as good on me as any other skinny jeans I own. See that phone? I'm gonna put it right in the pocket. Must be so small, right? Ah yes, girl pants length. Probably can't fit any further than that. What's this? Good God. Oh, good Lord in heaven. This is blasphemous. Look how much room is still there. There's chaos in the streets. Babies are crying. Fashion designers are screaming out of fear of the unknown. Buy your pants in the boys section, girls. Live in the beautiful world you deserve where you can fit in your pocket. This is the potato of luck. Don't ignore it, and tomorrow you'll get good news. I got a f***ing raise. The potato worked. What the f***? This potato works every time. Reblogging because it's a potato, and I want to encourage people to assume potatoes are magical. A friend of mine had a Minecraft server where we both have survived for a long time, but sadly we didn't even get to fight the Ender Dragon together, build an amazing base together because he lost to stage 4. Before he, instead of thinking about himself, he thought about me and our server. He thought who would take care of it. 3 days before he, I asked him who will take care of our world. He replied with, you of course. I replied with, that's gonna take half the time. We haven't even found an end portal yet. We haven't even had a stable base yet. He then told me that's why it's called Minecraft. You mine and craft to do things that you can't do in real life, like fight a dragon, build a house that goes up to the sky, explore the oceans all by yourself, find diamonds, go to the nether, and etc. He promised me that I would the Ender Dragon for him. Rest in peace, 2001 to 2015. Things I've learned from nearly only 2 years of raising garden snails. They have best friends. They'll go out of their way to sit on their best friends, kiss their best friends, and share lunch with them. Lettuce is to snails what a favorite ball is to a dog. If you're tasty, they'll give you gentle scrapes. They are social. They all have very distinct personalities and quirks. They like comfort. They are affectionate. You can actually tell when a snail is sleepy because they'll only stick their stalks halfway out and wiggle them gently. They're very curious. They're very clean, and they love maintaining their shells. Cuttlebone, yummy, make shell big. This honestly reminds me of a show on the History Channel where they spent like 25 minutes wondering how the sides of all the pyramids seemed to be perfectly divisible by pi or something. And people were theorizing about aliens and some lost form of mathematics. But then in the end, they interviewed a tired-looking paleontologist, and he was just like, maybe they just used a wheel to do all their measurements? And the whole show just immediately collapsed. Can you imagine being so far up your own with conspiracy theories that you forget about circles? If your kids get out of bed really early, you can place a clock in their room and color code it for them. Tell them that if the time is in the red, they have to stay in bed. If it's in the yellow, then they can get out of bed, but must play quiet things until the green. When it's green, they can start their day. What's the best instant karma you have seen or has happened to you? When I was 8 years old, I visited a miniature land. There was a little automated Mars factory where you could insert a 50-cent coin and the little truck would deliver a small chocolate to you. I asked my mom for a 50-cent coin, but she didn't have one. Some random girl about my age came up to me and offered me a 50-cent coin. I was thrilled and inserted the coin. The little truck came out of the factory towards us as it should. However, this one time, it had 2 small chocolates instead of 1. I could therefore return the favor to the girl by giving her the extra chocolate. I'm so sick of people saying water doesn't taste. Water tastes. Well, what does it taste like then? Blank. You know, the place where I last worked wanted to use our reading room as a backdrop for a filmed interview. We had a very pretty reading room. On the day the film crew was there, the audio guy came over to my desk, which was at the edge of the space, and said, look, you can keep working because you're not doing anything too loud, but in a minute, I'm gonna go over there and call for silence for 10 to 20 seconds. And during that time, I need you to not make any noise. And I went, LOL, sure. But he clearly felt a little uncomfortable telling me not to move at my own desk, so he explained the purpose of those 20 seconds is to record the silence of the room. It's so that they have a patch that they can edit silence over some extraneous background noise later, like the phone ringing, me getting an email, the toilet flushing in the bathroom next door, the elevator coming up and going, noisy student group, etc. But the point was that they can't just slap any old silence over a recording done in a certain room. They have to use the silence from that room, or it will be jarring on a subliminal level to the people listening, because silence has a sound, and it's a little different everywhere you hear it. That's what water tastes like. The legendary story of the Trojan horse does not involve the Greeks giving the horse to the Trojans as a gift. The Greeks' deception was actually that they left a horse as an offering to the goddess Athena. In the legend, they basically sent someone to Troy to say, this horse is for Athena, not you. So our retreat back to Greece is safe. Don't try to take it. It won't fit through the gates of your city, so there's no way you can steal and pretend you got it for Athena, not for Trojans. And then Troy was like, you're not our dad. We won this war and we're taking your stupid horse as a trophy, so we'll always remember how bad Greece is at destroying Troy. And a few Trojans were like, this is a trick, and tried to expose it as a trick, but the rest of the Trojans would have none of it because everyone was swept up in the thrill of victory. And also because the gods kept sending snakes to strangle anyone who said anything because the Greek gods had no word for subtlety. Then at night, all the Greeks jumped out of the horse like, we told you not to take the horse. Why are you such prideful? And burn down the whole city. This makes a lot more sense. Exhibit A, me trying to make a turkey and cheese sandwich quickly so I can close the fridge. B, my huge cat buddy who really likes turkey and keeps jumping when the fridge beeps and will eat the turkey if I go close to the fridge. C, the fridge, which is beeping because I accidentally left the door cracked in my haste to put turkey in my face. D, bits of the turkey slice I already gave buddy to distract him from my sandwich that he decided weren't worthy of being devoured because he's a little. Conclusion, oh, help. Had the worst toast buttering experience today. Using arm to hold the plate. No glasses, cold butter, cat likes butter. So there's this plastic turtle we have outside our school that tells cars to slow down. My kids have always asked me why I don't have a husband, and I got tired of telling them because I didn't want one. So I pointed to him and said, that dude, that's my husband. This has been a running joke for 2 years now. All the kids know the plastic turtle outside the school is my husband. He doesn't have a name, just Miss Cat's husband. Today was really windy and the turtle dude fell over. I was taking a kid out to his mom and he saw it on the ground and went, oh, look, your husband. So I said, oh darn, looks like I'm single again. And without skipping a beat, he goes, I'll be your husband. Mom is standing there trying not to laugh as I got down on my knees, took the kid's hands in mine and said, thanks for the offer, bud, but no thank you. We'll just pick that guy up so he can start being my husband again. So the kid runs over, picks the turtle up and goes, good morning, husband, you're not dead anymore. Good job. Details of Michelangelo's masterpiece, David. The best thing I ever learned about the David is that he made it as a big you. According to one of my art teachers, he was given a piece of marble that made it incredibly difficult to work with, and it was done on purpose. And so instead of throwing a fit or saying he couldn't work with the marble, thus proving that he wasn't that great of an artist, he looked at the marble and said, "No, f you, I will make this my masterpiece and it will be the greatest thing I've ever made." Which of course pissed people off when he did just that. I'm telling y'all right now that Renaissance art history is the greatest thing. It's all a bunch of divas acting overly dramatic and getting into passing contests over who is the better artist, and being commissioned by the church to create propaganda and then using said propaganda art to add content that subtly undermines the church. I once wrote a 10-page paper on that specifically, and let me tell you, the biggest divas were the sculptors. A proud new dad sits down to have a drink with his father. "Well, son, now that you've got a kid of your own, I think it's time to give you this." "Dad, you don't mean..." "Yes, son, I do." Dad pulls out a copy of 1001 Dad Jokes, 5th edition. "Dad, I'm honored," he says, tears sparkling in his eyes. "Hi, honored," replies his father. "I'm Dad." I strongly disagree with anyone who says Maleficent isn't the best Disney villain. No singing, no dancing, no long expositions about her plans, no tolerance for bumbling comedy sidekicks. She electrocutes a whole room full of minions when she finds out they f***ed up and spent the last few years searching for a baby. Just outright malicious intent. I mean, let's take a look at her motivations compared to other popular Disney villains. Scar wanted to become king. Ursula wanted to rule the seas. Wicked Queen wanted to rule as the most beautiful woman in the land. Jafar wanted to rule in the Sultan's place and or obtain ultimate power. Maleficent, by contrast, didn't want any of that. She didn't want more power. She didn't want fame. She didn't want to rule. She just wanted to raise hell. This is the woman who decided that every newborn child in the kingdom should... and the land should be covered in darkness for one reason. She wasn't invited to a mother party. That's right, the evil basically condemned an entire kingdom to at her hands because she didn't get invited to a christening. This is not a woman with a motivation. She cannot be reasoned with. Her actions cannot be rationalized. She is evil for the fun of being evil, not because she wants something. That, my friends, is the ultimate villain. One who knows they're evil and loves it.